and welcome to November's coaching clinic. Lovely to see you, everybody. Today we are this month, and today we're looking at the subject of living without worry. I was feeling guided to that subject, given just the current energy, I suppose, of my clients, the world, and then just even looking at my own life, just how easy it is to get caught in that way of using thought. So in today's session, I want to support you with just a very simple understanding, a way for you to live with less worry on your mind. I know that might sound like quite a big ask, but as we hear something today, that's really what's available. That your experience of life could become more enjoyable, more purposeful, less exhausted. Worry takes up a lot of mental energy. Thought is exhausting when it's flavored with worry. And many of us were taught, usually by our mothers, that to worry about someone means you care. What if that's not true? What if worry is yet another habit of thought, flavor of thought that we have adapted, gotten accustomed to, gotten familiar with, and it's simply become the norm? What really strikes me about a life lived with less worry is just how much mental clarity is available. I work with clients all the time who are looking to find deeper purpose, more meaning, contribution in the world. And often it is the consistent worry on their minds, even worry about finding that deeper purpose. But it is that consistent flavor of thought that blocks our clarity. Doesn't mean the clarity is not there. Doesn't mean that, you're the exception. Everybody else has got something that they're, wanting to express, but you don't. All of us have something. And yet this worry flavor can cloud that clarity. So through our sharing today, I would love to invite you to just listen more deeply. Listen for a quieter space inside of yourself where worry gets to just settle down. And in the coming hours, weeks, days, clarity gets to rise up. Wisdom gets to be heard. So just join with me now as we close our eyes, and we will, as always, open to a short guided meditation that supports our mind in quietening and supports us in listening more deeply. Just imagine now roots coming from your feet down through the ground, down into the underground, and right down to that rock at the bottom of the earth. Wrap those roots around that rock. Feel yourself becoming centered. Become aware of your breath. Breathing in through the nose and out. And just lengthen your breath each time on the out breath. Become aware of everything softening as you breathe more gently and deeply. You can be guided now with the count of 4. In, 2, 3, 4. Hold and out. 2, 3, 4. Soften. Every time you finish that out breath, let yourself relax further into wherever you're sitting. In, 2, 3, 4. And out. 2, 3, 4. Softening. In, 2, 3, 4. And out. 2, 3, 4. And softening. Become aware of your toes. Become aware of your fingers. Become aware of your shoulders. Soften and relax. Now, with those roots firmly around that rock at the bottom of the earth, see golden light emanating from that rock. And let that light move now up through the rock and through the roots. And on up now towards your feet. See that light now enter the feet. And allow this light, this healing elixir of golden light, to move through your body. See it move now from the feet to the ankles and up through the calves and the shins, into the kneecaps, and up through the thighs, the front and the back, through the buttocks and into the spine, through the hips and into the center of the body. See this light moving up now through the back of the spine, right up to the neck and through the front of the body, all the way up to the throat. Let this light move now up through the back of the head and down through the front of the face and out through the shoulders, down through the arms, into the hands and out through the fingertips until you are completely enveloped in this healing elixir of golden light. If there's something that you're struggling with in your health or your energy field, in your body, or in general, invite the light now to go there. Send the light to that situation and ask that it would be lightened up, that you would see clearly what needs to be done or not done. And in your mind's eye, get a sense of your life with less worry. What would be different about you? What do you think you might be experiencing if you allowed yourself to experience it rather than be in worry? What is the area that you seem to be hooked on about worry? We all have that place we go to, especially when our state of mind drops. We get hooked over there. We start obsessing and worrying and analyzing. Just get a sense of where it is you get hooked on this subject and invite the light to enter there. Dear Spirit, we ask that each person on this call today would experience a gentleness, a peace of mind, and solutions in the areas that they worry about. We ask that there would be a cleansing in our minds, that how we use our thinking would be far more productive and beneficial than being gripped by habits of thought like worry and stress and anxiousness. Please give us your thinking about this subject. Anywhere that we are holding tightly, please loosen the grip and show us the full expansion of what's available as we relax into our being, as we allow ourselves to live relaxed, to live in enjoyment, to live peacefully. Although we have learned to live in habits of worry, we invite the energy of mind to work its way through us from this day forward in the most positive, enjoyable, easiest way, that our minds might be lightened to the truth. Amen. And now just gently, once again, just allow yourself to see those roots coming from the feet, down through the ground, down into the underground, and right down to that rock at the bottom of the earth. Wrap those roots around that rock and feel yourself lightened. Begin to move your fingers, your toes, any part of your body as you come back into the coaching space. Gently opening your eyes, taking a drink if you'd like to. Well, what's really fascinating to me is that there are so many ways we can use thought. Worry is just one of the ways. It's not wrong, but you might notice it's just quite exhausting. Now, it seems to me that when worry is loud, it is an alert. Not that there's something awful about to happen. It is an alert that our mind is overactive. It is an alert alerting us to quieten down that overactive mind. See, that's the most helpful thing I ever learned about worry in particular, that it was letting me know when my state of mind had dropped. It was an indicator that I wasn't very well rested. Now, before I knew that, I thought I had to pay a lot of attention to anything I worried about. I thought I had to take action on the things I was worrying about. And so, as you can imagine, quite a few mistakes were made and a lot of sort of busyness was endured. But I'd like to invite you today to consider that you've learned to use your thinking in a way that's not very helpful. And you can now use your thinking in a way that supports you. Worry is simply your reminder, your alarm bell, your alert system that your mind is going far faster than you've realized. That the way you're thinking about the subject you're worried about isn't true. All of that noise is just there, inviting you to quieten down, come back to the present moment, come back to what's true. Now, does that mean we never have to worry? Well, see, there's a difference. Like, if there's something for you to be concerned about, wisdom will guide you rather than your thinking. Wisdom doesn't come with panic, anxiety, and worry. Wisdom is rather matter of fact. I like to think wisdom is a Capricorn like myself. just sort of says it as it is, right? Like, wisdom doesn't come with a lot of emotion. So if you need to be worried about something, your wisdom will alert you. There'll be a matter of fact clarity and a feeling of gotta do that you will recognize. Even if your mind was super busy, it would not get in the way of your wisdom alarming you to something. It's like, we're about to cross the road and a car's coming and we halt back because we realize, oh, better stop. I'm going to get knocked down. There's no emotion with that as such. There's a kind of a common sense wisdom halting us. Well, that's the same with anything. whether it's a huge health issue you're up against, or a big financial challenge, or a court case. Like, worry is optional in all of life. And if there's something we need to be savvy about, alerted to, it won't be worry that does the talking and helps us out. It'll be wisdom. I had a client who was up against losing her son to in a court case, and the lawyers were, first of all, just in really insisting that she did things a certain way. And, you know, she just was living in a lot of worry about that. And she allowed herself to begin to see the worry as an alarm bell that her mind was overactive. She really allowed herself off the hook. She started to get her mind more rested. She began to find ways to quieten down. She listened to truth. She attended the coaching. Well, when it came time for the court case, her wisdom alerted her to do the opposite of what she was being told to do by the experts. And she just knew that she had to go against everything she was being told. And with it came the courage and the matter of factness, which in turn meant that she won. She was able to proceed and keep her son. So, like, you know, wisdom won't run out when you're up against something where you've got a gun to your head. But being in habits of thought, of worry, really is the alert that you've got a gun to your head. And we have learned to confuse worry with meaning we better do something here. We better pay attention. We better find a solution. We better act on what we're hearing. No, 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 no. If there's something for you to act on, wisdom will make it known. Wisdom doesn't need any, what's the word? Preparation. Now, it is true that if we're cultivating a quieter state of mind, chances are worry is going to lose its grip and wisdom's going to rush in far more obviously, far more quickly. But don't be under any illusion that you have to, you have to be in a certain state to hear your wisdom. I remember being 11 years old and I was growing up in Northern Ireland, and I found myself in a very stressful, dangerous situation. And I was really, really scared of what was about to happen. And a stillness came over me, and words came out of my mouth that diffused the adults, diffused the situation, diffused the actions they were about to take. So, that was pretty much a gun to my head as a child. And yet there was wisdom rushing in. Rather than being in worry, worry robs us of the moment. If you're wondering why you're not enjoying your life, it's that. You're not doing anything wrong, but you may be living worried that you're not getting life right, or you should be further ahead by now, or you should be 10 pounds lighter by now, or you need to worry about the future. Like, if you're lacking any sort of enjoyment, you can guarantee worries in the house. And so I want to invite you today to consider that worry is optional. Worry is your friend, alerting you to the fact that your mind is running on overdrive. And worry is just one way we have learned to use our thinking, but we're using it against ourselves. See, we can use our thinking in support of ourselves. That doesn't mean you need to go and change your thinking. It means in a quieter mind, in a well-rested state, your flavors of thought will be far more pleasant. Why not make that your daily mission? That you would find ways to prioritize a quieter state of mind, to experience and drop into it. Even if you drop out of it 5 minutes later, who cares? You're still delving into that space where worry loses its grip and flavors of thought, more pleasant flavors of thought, come up to the surface. One of those flavors being clarity, self-esteem, love, possibility, connection, flavors of thought that are so much nicer, flavors of thought that are a little more productive to your purpose and mission. Does that mean we beat ourselves up when we drop into worry? Absolutely not. We're human. It's going to be a part of our experience. But you might begin to get suspicious when worry's in the house. You might begin to get a little more present to doing nothing when worry's in the house, and to taking care of yourself with a capital S, rather than acting on all the things the worry's trying to convince you to do. In my partner's death, I heard him say, "You can't get life wrong." So why worry? It's just one way to use your thinking. It's not gold dust. It's not particularly helpful. And in a more rested state of mind, it loses its grip. Make nothing more important than taking care of you and your mind. So I'd love to sort of check in here. Questions, comments, what are you noticing? Anything you might like some support around today? And I won't be offended if you say, "Grace, I need to go and have sleep now," because often, we're living in so much noise that we start hearing this, we start settling down, and the next thing we're ready to conk out, depending on how wound up we've been for the last X number of days or weeks. So that's okay too. But if there is something you'd like to explore with me here on the clinic, or share or comment upon, you're very welcome to. Laura, lovely to see you.
Nice to see you too. Thank you. Um, I had a question which was about there's a particular subject for me, like topic, um, around like my relationships, like intimate relationships. And this has been a big worry thing for me, like these particularly the past kind of like 7 years or so. Would experience a lot of like intrusive thoughts, like ruminating behaviors, like around this topic. And I feel like those thoughts are just so, I've heard them so many times, like they're just there like all the time. They still like intrude on my like day. Um, they don't have such a big like emotional impact now, but like what I'm what I'm finding is that it's very difficult to trust my wisdom, which is in complete opposition to these like worry thoughts.
Mm.
Um, and to trust that like it is okay because these like thought I've been having these thoughts for so long. It just feels like they're just like that's like the truth. Um, but it's easier for me to like access and listen to that wisdom in other parts of my life and like disregard the worries. So I just wondered what your thoughts were like around that really, and just around like, I guess, strengthening that connection. I think of for me, a lot of the fear is around like getting it wrong, like doing something wrong, um, being like judged in some way or like not being enough. Um, so I just would love to hear you kind of your insights around that really.
Yeah. Well, thanks for sharing that, Laura, because I think a lot of people can really relate to, getting hooked in a particular area. And the fact that you can see that that's a place that still hooks you. I mean, that's pretty amazing in itself. Like that tells me you're not going to go down the rabbit hole as much as you might have done a couple of years ago on that subject. Now, of course, you would love that to completely kind of disappear and open up to a whole new experience. And I think that's really what's on offer incrementally. I think sometimes we want the big shift in an area, and yet I've seen it's human nature that we get hooked somewhere, that there are some subjects that just kind of scare the life out of people, possibly because of something that they've experienced in the past, or some learning that they got as kids. Who cares? It doesn't matter like where it came from. But you might notice that you want to look for incremental change, and you want to begin to really honor that incremental change when you see it, Laura. One of the most helpful things a coach ever did for me was really spend time highlighting every time I had made a very tiny change in an area that hooked me. And over time, I just gained confidence in that area because I started to see, oh, well, that's better than it was. And I'm a little bit better in that zone. And I'm a little less afraid than I was. And I'm less captivated by the subject, you see. But you said something so innocent, which I think a lot of us have learned. Like, what if I get it? What if I get this wrong? You know, what if I do it wrong in this area? Like, be gentle with ourselves. When a subject is that loaded,
Mm.
what if I get this wrong?
Yeah.
We're gonna be we're gonna be a bit more resistant, a bit slower to sort of act in that area, or we're going to be a bit more protective. So, but again, you know, what you're up against here is not that you're going to get this wrong, but rather that there's just still some thinking there that grips you, seduces
Mm.
you. And over time, because of what you're discovering and the way that you're even seeing that you're being gripped there, over time, it will loosen and loosen and loosen. Like, I used to get so gripped in my relationship with Francesco in the early days. Um, you know, I really had this thinking that I obviously learned very young, that there was a right man, and you had to make sure that you know, you got the right relationship.
Yeah.
And so I would bring that into my relationship, and what I would do is I would get really, really tired and not realize I was really, really tired. And immediately I would go to the place I would get hooked the quickest.
Mm.
Oh, I don't think this is the right relationship for me. Oh, you see, now I've got evidence that this is not the right relationship for me. It would get so noisy inside, Laura, that the best I could do was leave the relationship. And I did that a number of times. When I would leave the relationship, all that would happen is my thinking about the relationship would quieten down. And then I would look at the relationship and go, what am I doing? Why did I, what? Why are we not together? I did that. Oh, can I come back?
Yeah.
Right? Like, now that was wisdom.
Yeah.
Leaving my relationship was wisdom, because that is the only way I could shut the fan belt up of worry. And I could actually get some clarity from a quieter space. It had nothing to do with the relationship. And so I just began to honor over time that, oh, we're back on that subject, Grace. Oh, you're tired.
Mm.
What do you need to do to take care of yourself? You know, it's not to run out the door anymore. You know, is that helpful to you?
It is. Thank you. Yeah. It's
Yeah.
the relationship anxiety, that's something that I've struggled for a long time. And your experience is like exactly what I've experienced. I haven't like ever left the relationship, but I've had like horrible intrusive thoughts like about that was my only option.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and my wisdom's always said like it's okay, like it's all right, you don't need to go. But it's just um, they just get so loud, and it's really helpful to hear about the incremental, like focusing on the incremental rather than looking for those like big shifts. Because I think I can have a tendency to just forget like how far I've come.
Mm-hmm.
Like even 6 months ago or like a year ago, like if I get those thoughts, I'd just be like, I might be lost for like half the day and
Mm-hmm.
just be like, just completely, just not like really struggle to engage with things. And like, then I would obviously disconnect like with my partner and like not be able to like, then that would like fuel it all. So now I can see like when those thoughts are coming, but it's just like there's still quite a lot of and there's still a lot of energy attached to them. But it's important for me to notice, I think, just, well, the fact that I am noticing is big in itself. So
It is. And you might just notice more and more as you go along that when that subject is rising to the surface, you know, you're being invited to quieten down the fan belt inside. Now, that doesn't mean when the fan belt quiets, you'll stay, right? Like, but you wanna be quiet inside to know if you're meant to stay or to go. You definitely, because your wisdom will be there. Your wisdom will guide you. It'll be so obvious. It won't be coming with a gun to your head. You see? So just a really, anywhere we get hooked, friends, any subject we're getting hooked on, we just have a lot on it. Just notice our incremental change. Just be gentle with ourselves over there. And just know that when that subject is getting loud for you, that's your invite to quieten down inside. And you will hear or know if there's something to do. Thank you so much, Laura. That was a great question for us. Sarasat Kaur, lovely to see you. Do you want to unmute?
Yeah, great to see you too. I couldn't miss this worry time. I loved everything you said, of course, and I was taking notes like crazy. And one of the things that I've noticed since I moved to Mexico is that there's a lot of, I don't know what to call it, there's a lot of space. My house is very small compared to where I lived before, but I like it. And I live in a small town. Everybody here that I have had any interaction with has been so kind and so helpful. And yet I still worry like crazy. And I think I have got the worry gene from my mother because she worried a lot. I don't remember my father ever being worried. He usually had answers for things. But one of the things that I wanted to mention and share, but I also would like your input. When I get tired, I worry more. And then I don't sleep well, and then I'm more tired. I don't know if that other people have that same kind of pattern, but that seems to be the one for me. I'm starting to let myself take a morning nap. I've done that for the last only 3 days, but it's something, and it's changing for me. Like my claws holding that worry in me slowly, but it's helping. And one of the things that is really amazing about where I live is how helpful and kind everyone is. My next door neighbor, she's an attorney, and we walk together every morning. We take like about an hour walk in our neighborhood. And I just look at all these people that have come into my life, and I've been here, I think, like 7 months now, and I've amassed a group of friends, people who take me, ask me, you want to go out for lunch? And I go, yeah, because I live by myself, and my daughter and her wife are pretty busy, so we don't see each other. We see each other usually a few times a week, depending on what needs to be done or, how busy they are. But the thing that's really amazing to me is that when I have opened myself up to one of the things that I do, I talk to my husband a lot. That's something I learned from you, to lean on the one that has been your life, the love of your life. And he always, when I say, can you take care of that? He always does. And I think a lot of that is when we shift our energy. I mean, this is my experience, that I let it go. I give it to him. And he's just going to work from wherever he's working. And it gets taken care of. It's just such a powerful lesson for me. Because he never worried about anything that I ever knew. Even when he was very ill, he never worried. It was just not in his nature. And I'm finding that when I'm starting, if I'm getting like really anxious, which I have a lot of anxiety, if I, just remember to do my breathing, all the things we do in yoga. I might not even be doing postures, but I'll do the long, deep breathing through my nose, just slowing my breath way down. And usually 3 minutes is about all it takes. And I'm so grateful that you had this topic and that I was able to join you this morning.
Me too. Yeah, it's so great to see you, Sarasat. I mean, it's just, you've been through such a transition, like you've left the mountains in Italy, isolated, to go to a bustling small town with new friends. I mean, there's so much good in that. And I hear you about the worry. It's a habit of thought. Worry is a habit of thought. I don't think all men are free of the habit of thought, but I do think we women all had role models that showed us this habit of thought is very important to pay attention to.
Well, my mother was a worrier, and I think I learned it from her.
Well, they all, I don't think any of us here have been brought up with a mother that did not use her thinking to worry, probably about us, worrying about her child, and yet it's like, okay, we start to notice sometimes the worry flavor is just louder. Oh, well, what can I do to take care of myself now? I hear you saying you're allowing yourself to take that nap. That's so important, because we, in order to go to sleep, we need to let go of worry. We need to let go of worry. And yet you're aware of what's occurring. I wonder if you can just allow some gentleness and patience with yourself around this. Sometimes what I can see happening with some clients is they can almost get frustrated with their worry, not seeing the innocence of a flavor of thought that is just loud at the moment and at some point will get quieter. Obviously, getting a good night's rest or building in your siesta when you don't really helps the fan belt settle. I've also found that magnesium is an excellent way to calm the nervous system and help me sleep well. I've also found...
It's interesting you said that, because I've been taking magnesium for the last several years, and I upped my dose in the last 6 months or something like that.
Okay.
And I think I feel it makes a difference. I take drops and I take them mostly in the evening just before I go to bed.
Yeah. Well, maybe there's another type or there's something else. I'm just sharing what I know has worked for me. Like when I'm overtired, my right eye will start flickering. It'll go like this. And I've learned now, oh man, that's my signal that I'm overtired and I'm not getting enough magnesium in my system. Like it's amazing how well designed we are, that we have all these alerts going on. So the first thing that happens, of course, is that the sleep gets disrupted. And then over time, for me personally, that eye starts flickering and I'll be convinced I'm not tired. I'll be convinced I'm doing okay. And I will literally get back on the magnesium as strongly as I can. The other thing that I have found supports me in sleeping is two things, Sarasat, is I need to have enough protein in my system. And I have discovered that fat is essential. So there were times during my healing of the grieving that I would wake up consistently at night. What helped me was butter. I would eat a spoonful of butter and go back to bed. Wasn't exactly the easiest thing to do, I admit. It worked wonderfully. There's something soothing in our nervous system when we have magnesium, fat, and protein. I'm not a dietitian. I'm just sharing what has worked for me. And I just was very interested in, that physical aspect, not just the mental piece. Because sometimes we're just in that busy-minded fan belt and the nervous system needs some help,
Yeah.
So again, the key here is you're already taking care of you. You want to be gentle that you've gone through this incredible life change of country, losing your husband, moving, moving cultures completely. And yet look how well you're doing. New friends, lunches, walks, wonderful neighborhood, kind people, a husband that will support you with your every demand and every request. And just be patient and gentle about this other piece. There's a physical reaction at times. Just your alarm bell. We're overthinking. We're busy-minded. Maybe we could do with some supplementation in some area. Does that make sense?
Totally. Yeah. Thank you, Grace.
Thank you. And I'll see you there soon.
Oh, I hope so. I have my
I haven't
guest room
forgotten. I haven't forgotten. Lovely to see you, sweetheart. Sat Nam.
No.
So, yeah, it's a big subject for us women, and it's an important one that we begin to see that this is a learned way of using thought. That's all. Amy, I will come to you in a sec, but what I would like to do is, since we're getting close to time in case people have to leave, I would like to share with you that I'm going to take this subject into a much deeper dive. In our brand new course, There's More to Life Than Thinking About Yourself. It really should have been called There's More to Life Than Worrying About Yourself. Myself and Dr. Mark Howard are sharing across the next 4 weeks, each Thursday, on this subject. Dr. Mark has really personally supported me in quietening down the fan belt of worry. And he is one of Sydney Banks's original students. If you don't know him, check him out. We've done a webinar together. He's just wonderful. This course will allow us to go deeper on today's subject, and will just make your experience of life far more graceful. So if you're interested in that, here you go. There's the link, or you can email me and I will send you the PDF document. We start on Thursday. The price is £197. You can do that in a 2-part payment. If you're already with me as a client or alumni for that, you get that at £97. So we'd love to have you there. Amy, I'm happy to go over a little bit today. So if anyone would like to stay, please feel free, but I'd love to answer your question or your comment.
Sure. Yeah, I'll keep it brief since we're at the end. This is a beautiful call, really beautiful. I heard so many things, and I just wanted to share something I heard earlier from Laura's share when she said, she talked about having these thoughts for a long time. That was a really interesting, like, I also heard her say, the other things that you talked about with worry, but when I heard her say it, it brought up this question or this inquiry in my mind around, like, I wonder if there's just some part of us that is so familiar. And also, yeah, just hangs on to, like, there's a part of us that there's also a worry or a fear about letting go of the worry. That's what I heard in her share. I was like, that's very interesting. Like, I want to sit with that myself, because it's a part of you. These thoughts and these things are a part of you, and they become familiar. And it's like, well, who am I? That was the question that it led me to. Who am I if I don't think this thought? There's a lot of space there. There's a lot of silence. I'm actually coming out of a 5-day silent meditation retreat, which it can be, yeah, which is very confronting. Like, there's a lot of things in that you sit and you hear all the bullshit and the garbage and the, just the things in your head. So it was nice to come to this call and feel that grounding. Yeah.
And I love that insight, Amy. I think that's helpful to everyone, that maybe there's some part of us that, we don't know what's available beyond just living in worry. And that's why I really wanted to invite you all to consider that sometimes this habit of thought is the way we block ourselves from clarity of purpose in particular, clarity on what to do, clarity on direction. Now, it's innocent. You don't want to go and, try and beat yourself up about that and stuff. You just want to see that, yeah, maybe at the level of consciousness you're living at today, it's better to have the worry than to have the clarity. Who cares? You can't get life wrong, remember, okay? And you don't want to analyze your worry. You don't get worried about your worry, right? Like, now we're just dealing with thought upon thought upon thought. Look to the wisdom, not to the worry. Look to the fact that wisdom will guide you even in your worry. Look to the fact that we can be curious about, maybe this thinking isn't so helpful. Look to the fact we can get suspicious of our worry rather than be seduced by it. Look to the fact that worry is an invitation to settle down, quieten down, take care of self. look to the fact that we can use our thinking in a different way, even if our mothers have taught us to use it this way, even if culturally we've been told that we must worry in order to show how much we care. Like, there's a lot on this subject. So that's why we want to be gentle with ourselves. We want to be patient. We want to see where we're getting freed up a little bit from that consistent worry. And we want to appreciate when we're living in a different flavor of thought, even if it's just for 5 minutes, a flavor of thought that's a little more peaceful, a flavor of thought that's a little more clear, a flavor of thought that's not so scary. Like incremental changes, gentle pieces. Because soon enough, we start to see that this is just a learned habit of thought. Somebody should have told us. Nobody knew. And yet, if you're starting to catch yourselves when you are in worry, that thought has already lost its grip on you. You'll have to trust me on that one. Okay. So it was beautiful to be with you all today. And the next coaching clinic will be Tuesday, December 3rd. I'm looking forward to that. I do hope to see you on our program on Thursday. I know some of you are already joining that. So I'd love to take you deeper on this subject alongside the energy of Dr. Mark Howard. And in the meantime, thank you for your presence. Thank you for listening and for showing up here. It's an absolute joy to serve this way. And I'll see you soon. Lots of love, everybody.